Shabbat Shalom.
Recording progress.
This is part two. Okay. We are the reason why we are divided and conquered. That's what this is about right here. So I hear a lot of times that people basically blame the white man or Edomites or Esau. And I'm like, wow. I used to play into that, you know, but yet my whole early youth, most of my lifetime was spent around people looking like me. Of course, even dealing in school, my teachers looked like me. So I rarely ever had any run-ins with palm skin people, except for maybe a couple, very few classmates. And most of the conditions and situations that I seen that we were in, or people looking like me, it was caused by us. But still, I heard the white man. Now, as an adult, I hear Edomites. And I'm like, man. But as a Bible studying person, even in Christianity, I'm like, stuff didn't really make sense to what they were saying in a sense, because, it's like, man, why don't they just do what they supposed to do? Sometimes I would say, and I would say that, because I would be trying to do what I was supposed to because I was afraid of the punishment that would come my way. I'm one that got a lot of whoopings, and I think, I don't know. At that time, I really thought it was a overabundance of whoopings, but it kind of cultivated me into walking in a more moral way in certain things. I followed rules and was scared to get in trouble. A lot of times it was fear that motivated me, but still, I didn't do certain things. Now, not to say that I was perfect or at what we consider perfect. You know, I was doing a lot of stuff that basically could have got me in major trouble, but nobody knew about it. I put on a face like I was, because when I was doing nothing and doing nothing good, I was getting bullied and all this stuff like that, and it's like it wasn't seeming to be working. And so I'm like, man, hmm, the good guys always finish last. That's what I'm feeling. But I'm like, man, I started reading the word, and I'm like, that's not consistent to how it's supposed to be. The righteous is not supposed to be forsaken, and I'm like, so my heart wasn't right, and I had to get my heart right. I didn't realize that though I was doing what was said in the home to do, I was not walking in obedience to Yah. Didn't even know what that was. So upon learning that, it's like, okay, I got to move different. But again, let me show you something. I'm like, man, reading some of the texts of whatever, it's like, man, nobody can touch Israel if they're in obedience. The story of Balak and Balaam really is one that intrigues me. There's so many layers to that discussion, but I'm gonna just skip past, the donkey and all that, the donkey talking and stuff. But it's a point in there where Balak is trying to get Balaam to curse Israel, but it's evident that that's not going to happen. So I'm gonna just read and let you, pick. Well, I'm gonna pick through it and read it, but I want you to hear me and also surf through yourself and just see some things that's said in here that's of interest to me. It's like, whoa, it it's not like most of you probably haven't read it or whatever, but it's just like I want to go over it again. So let's go there. Let me share my screen. I've prayed earlier, so this is the second section, so and I'm gonna do another one. So let's go. So Bimidbar, or Numbers 23, it says, and Balaam said to Balak, Build 7 places for me here, slaughter places, altars, and prepare 7 bulls and 7 rams for me here. Many that know numerology or know some about numbers know that 7 is significant, but anyway, let's keep going. And Balak did as Balaam had spoken, and Balak and Balaam offered a bull and a ram on each slaughter place. Balaam then said to Balak, stand by your ascending offering, and let me go on. It might be that Yahuwah does come to meet me. So this man that is not of Israel is sending forth offerings to Israel, and that he's expecting maybe to have an encounter with Yahuwah. And whatever he shows me, I shall declare to you. And he went to a bare height. And Elohim came to Balaam, and he said to him, I have prepared 7 slaughter places, and I have offered on each slaughter place a bull and a ram. And Yahuwah put a word in the mouth of Balaam and said, return to Balak, and this is what you say. So this man was able to connect with Yah, and Yah gave him a message. And he returned to him and saw him standing by his ascending offering, and he and all the heads of Moab. So Balaam was over Moab. Many disregard that Moab came from the union, or came from Lot, or Lot, as we say, but it's Lot having a child with one of his daughters. Lot being the nephew of Abraham. So this is also a Shemitic person. Moab is actually a Shemitic person. So Balak is a Shemitic person, a relative of Abraham. And he took up his proverb and said, Balak, the sovereign of Moab, has brought me from Aram, from the mountains of the east. Come, curse Yaakov for me, and come, rage at Israel. So they want to curse Israel. How do I curse whom El has not cursed? Yah has not cursed Israel, is what it's saying right here. And yet, Moab, the rulers of Moab, Balaam, want to curse Israel. And how do I rage at whom Yahuwah has not raged? For from the top of the rocks I see him, and from the hills I observe him. Look, a people dwelling alone, not reckoning itself among the nations. They are set apart. They are neighbors to themselves, but not to any other nations. They setting themselves apart from all the other nations. Who shall count the dust of Jacob and the number of 1/4 of Israel? Yet let me die the death of the upright, and let my end be like his. Israel was upright at this time. He wanted to have what they had, being esteemed like they are. It said, and Balak said to Balaam, what have you done to me? I took you to curse my enemies, and look, you have kept on showing them favor. You kept baruching them. And he answered and said, should I not take heed to speak what Yahuwah has put in my mouth? And Balak said to him, please come with me to another place from where you see them. You only see the extremity, but not all of them. Curse them for me from there. And he took him to the field of Saphim, to the top of Pisgah, and built 7 slaughter places, and offered a bull and a ram on each slaughter place. And he said to Balak, stand here by your ascending offering, while I meet over there. And Yahuwah came to Balaam and put a word in his mouth and said, go back to Balak and say this. So he went to him and saw him standing by his ascending offering. And the heads of Moab, all these leaders of Moab, all these Shemitic men with him, and Balak asked him, what did Yahuwah say? And he took up his proverb and said, rise up, Balak, and hear. Listen to me, son of Zippor. El is not a man to lie, nor a son of man to repent. He has said, and he would, he would, and would he not do it, or spoken, and would he not confirm it? Now, in my previous message, I read that Israel was to be established as the royal priest as long as they walked in obedience to Yah for all other nations. This is a promise made to Israel. Well, why would Yah lie about that? They supposed to be set apart and above, given leadership or headship over all other nations. To curse them would be to remove them from that position. To curse them would be going against his initial will towards them. Yah don't lie. He don't break his promises. Men do. So, see, I have received to show them favor, to Baruch them, and he has Baruched, and I do not reverse it. So Bilam saying, look, I gotta show nothing but favor towards these people. I gotta Baruch them. I can't do nothing to reverse it. He has not looked upon wickedness in Yaqub. He's seeing their obedience and not their wicked, nor has he seen trouble in Israel. Yahuwah, his Elohim, is with him, and the shout of a sovereign is in him. That royalty is in him. The shout of Yah is in Israel when they're operating in obedience. El, who brought them out of Mizraim, is for them like the horns of a wild ox. For there is no sorcery against Israel. I mean, Yaqub, excuse me. Yaqub is still Israel. Because, Yaqub would be the flesh and Israel would be the spiritual. But he's letting it know there is no sorcery against Yaqub, nor is there any divination against Israel. Yaqub, Israel, Yaqub. Now it is said to Yaqub and to Israel, what has El done? El is done righteously towards Israel when they are operating in obedience. Yah has shown favor to them when they operate in obedience. No curses have been laid on them. Same could be said with today if we would come together in obedience. But let me keep going. Look, a people rises like a lioness and lifts itself up like a lion. It lies down, not down until it devours the prey and drinks the blood of the slain. And Balak said to Balaam, do not curse them at all, nor Baruch them at all. He basically like, shut up. He's like, I paid you to curse them, but you ain't doing nothing but speaking favor over them. And Balaam answered and said to Balak, have I not spoken to you, saying all that Yahuwah speaks, that I do? He's saying, I'm gonna be obedient to Yah myself. I'm not crossing him. It's not worth it. Whatever you're gonna pay me is not worth it. And Balak said to Balaam, please come, let me take you to another place. It might be right in the eyes of Elohim that you curse them for me from there. So look at this, though. Yah has made a promise. Can't no other person, no other nation or people change what Yah has said for us. So keep saying Esau did this. Remember, Esau is Shemitic, just like Moab. Yah's not a respecter of persons. So if Moab, being, a descendant of Lot, could not, the ruler of Moab could not curse Israel, why would you think that the brother of Yaakov, Esau, and his descendants could do anything to an obedient Israel. What would make you think that? How can you say that you believe what Yah says and his promises, but yet your actions and your feelings and your emotions have you going contrary? Makes no sense. Come on, we got to come up out of that. We got to see that obedience is the answer. Obedience is greater than sacrifice. Come on. Not knocking the sacrifice of Yahusha, not knocking any of the sacrifice. But if we obey, if we would have walked in obedience, it would be no need for a sacrifice. Sacrifice comes because disobedience comes, and it comes to correct the disobedient action. But afterwards, we need to walk in obedience so we no longer need to further sacrifice. But let me keep going. And Balak took Balaam to the top of Peor that overlooks the wasteland. And Balaam said to Balak, build 7 slaughter places for me here, and prepare 7 bulls and 7 rams for me here. And Balak did as Balaam said, and offered a bull and a ram on each slaughter place. We jump. And when Balaam saw that it pleased Yahuwah to show favor to Baruch Israel, he did not go as the other times. See, this man was a magician, a warlock. And so he was using divination and all this to get to Yah. But no, now he's seeing that he can get to Yah straightforward by just being obedient. So now he went different. He didn't use his magic, his divination and stuff like that. You know, people are accessing Yah with divination still to this day. People don't get that. They say, "Oh, I'm doing the will." Yeah, but you accessing it the wrong way. Can't tell people nothing about that. And they say, "Oh, it's the will." This man was doing the will of Yah, but I acknowledged right there that he was not going about it the right way. But he changed at that last time. This last time he changed up his way. He went straight forward in obedience. Before he almost lost his life because he was being disobedient. But I'm gonna leave that alone. Let me keep going. And he did not go as the other times to seek to use sorcery, divination, but he set his face toward the wilderness. And Balaam lifted up his eyes and saw Israel encamped according to their tribes. All them 12 tribes were by each other. They were neighboring one another. The only neighbors that Israel has ever had was Israel. They loved their neighbor. See, they were set apart from all other nations. How can you people want to make, love thy neighbor mean other nations when no, they were set apart. Only way they love people of other nations is if they came in obedience to Yah. And then they seen them as themselves, but they still were recognized as sojourners. They treated them like they were citizens, but they still were seen as sojourners. That obedience is what unlocked and gave them interest. But let me keep going. And Bilam lifted up his eyes and saw Israel encamped according to their tribes. And the Ruach, the spirit of Elohim, came upon him. This sorcerer started walking in obedience, and the Ruach fell on him. And he took up his proverb and said, the saying of Bilam, son of Beor, the saying of the man whose eyes are open, the saying of him who hears the words of El, who sees the vision of the Almighty, who falls down with eyes open wide. How good are your tents, O Yaqub, your dwellings, O Israel. Oh my goodness, he starts just giving praise to Yah, but also glorifying the will of Yah in Israel, that Israel be favored. He starts speaking it out, magnifying Yah, but also elevating and praising Israel as well. Like wadis that stretch out, like gardens by a river, like aloes planted by Yahuwah, like cedars beside waters. He makes water flow from his buckets, and his seed is in many waters. His sovereign is higher than a god, and his reign is exalted. If you're obedient to Yah, those that are attempting to curse you, if they keep at it, that curse or whatever they set up for you will fall in, or they'll come to the conclusion that they have to bless you too or show favor to you too. They have to baruch you too. This man sought to curse him, but now he's exalting the name of Yah and Israel. El, who brought him out of Mizraim, is for them like the horns of a wild ox. He devours nations, his enemies, and he breaks their bones with his arrows. He smites. He bowed down. He lay down like a lion, and like a lion, who would rouse him? Baruch is he who shows favor to you, and cursed is he who curses you. So this man is seeing favor from Yah because he was there to curse him, but now he's baruching him. He acknowledging that hey, to curse Israel is to curse yourself, but to show favor and to baruch Israel is to baruch yourself. Then the displeasure of Balak burned against him. This ruler of Moab was upset because what he paid for, he didn't get. He ain't getting no curses. Man, favor is being poured upon Israel. Favor upon favor upon favor. Then the displeasure of Balak burned against Balaam, and he struck his hands together. Balak then said to Balaam, I summoned you to curse my enemies, and see, you have kept on blessing these 3 times. 3 witnesses of favor towards Israel. Not one, not two, but 3 witnesses. And now flee to your place. I said I would greatly esteem you, and see, Yahuwah has kept you back from esteem. No, 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 no. At this moment, Yahuwah has esteemed Balaam. That same favor that he put towards Israel was on him, but that's why he was in obedience. It was on him while he was in obedience. But this man is a sorcerer, so that obedience ain't gonna last for long. But check it out. And Balaam said to Balak, did I not also speak to you to your messengers, whom you sent to me, saying, if Balak shall give me his house filled with silver and gold, I am unable to go beyond the word of Yahuwah. No, I can't cross Yahuwah to do either good or evil of my own heart. What Yahuwah speaks, that I speak. Like I have no choice in this matter to do anything but be obedient to Yah. And now, see, I am going to my people. I'm going home. Come, let me advise you what this people is going to do to your people in the latter days. Like, you done stepped on something. You trying to curse them, watch what's finna happen to you because of it. And he took up his proverb and said, the saying of Balaam, son of Beor, and the saying of the man whose eyes are open, the saying of him who hears the words of El and knows the knowledge of the Most High, who sees the vision of the Almighty, who falls down with eyes open wide. So he didn't access Yah at a level greater than his sorcery could ever connect him to Yah. But of course, those that have wicked devices always lean back to those wicked devices unless they come up out of them. And he ain't come up out of them. But check it out. He said, I see him, but not now. I observe him, but not near. A star shall come out of Yaakov. Hmm. And a scepter shall rise out of Israel. Hmm. And shall smite the corners of Moab, and shall destroy all the sons of Sheth, and Edom shall be a possession. Not Edom being destroyed, as many want to teach, but Edom shall be a possession. This is Moab talking. Why is it letting them know about Edom? What they got to do? No, he giving them prophetic word, letting them know Moab gonna get destroyed, but Edom gonna be a possession. Many want Edom destroyed, see Edom as an enemy, but they're gonna be a possession. The younger will rule over the elder. Right now, we can see Edom has a hand over us, but that's not how it's going to end up in the end. Okay, Edom shall be a possession, and Sierra shall be a possession. Enemies, and Yezreel is doing mightily. And out of Yaakov one shall rule and destroy the remnant from Ar. And then looked on Amalek, and he took up his proverb and said, Amalek, his first among the nations, but his latter end is to perish forever. He then looked on the Canaanites, and he took up his proverb and said, Firm is your dwelling place, and your nest is set in the rock. But Canaan is to be burned. Till when does Asher keep you captive? And he took up his proverb and said, Oh, who does live when El does this? And ships shall come from the coast of Kittim, Cyprus, and Rome, and they shall afflict Asher and afflict Eber. Who is Eber? Who is Eber? Eber, Ebreet, Hebrew. And shall and so shall Amalek, and he also perishes. And Balaam arose and left and returned to his place, and Balak also went away. Now, let me see. Let me find this. See. Oh man. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm gonna stop that. There is I'm gonna have to find it at another time. But Balak basically gave out some information though. I mean Balaam some information. Israel can be cursed when they're disobedient. You can't curse them, but if you get them to go against Yah's will and instructions, they'll curse themselves. That'll be the problem. They'll curse themselves. So let's show that. That's one witness. One witness. And I should have found that text out, but I want to show you how, other nations can't really do all that. But let me see. Let me see. Let me hold on. I'm gonna go in here real quick. I wanna go back a little bit. Let me see. Uh, 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 let me see. All right. All right, I'm gonna move forward. But I did wanna, you know, uh, 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 yeah, let me go ahead and go to the next part. So my next part is to go to Deuteronomy 28, and I'm not using it for the purpose that most people you have used it for. So let me go here and let me share my screen and just show you what I was just showing you or just talking about, I should guess. You know, So Devarim or Deuteronomy 28, it says, "And it shall be, if you diligently obey the voice of Yahuwah, your Elohim, to guard, to shamar, to do all his commands, which I command you today, that Yahuwah your Elohim so set you high above all nations on the earth." All of that Bilam was saying towards Israel, and what Exodus 19:4, 5, and 6, when they obey, Israel will be the royal priest, the reigning, the leaders over the earth. Elohim will set obedient Israel above all the nations of earth. They will be operating as Adam was supposed to be, having dominion over the earth. All these Baruchs shall come upon you and overtake you if you obey the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim. Baruched are you in the city, and Baruched are you in the field. Baruched is your fruit of your body. Won't be no barrenness. You'll be able to multiply. And the fruit of your ground and the fruit of your livestock. Man, you'll have harvests out of this world, and also your livestock will be breeding. The increase of your cattle and your offspring of your flocks. Baruch is your basket and your kneading bowl. Bread, endless bread. Baruch are you when you come in, and Baruch are you when you go out. Yahuwah causes your enemies who rise against you to be smitten before your face. They come out against you one way and flee before you 7 ways, almost like them 7 altars. But anyway, Yahuwah commands the favor on you in your storehouses and in all that which to which you set your hand, and shall Baruch you in the land which Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you. Yahuwah does establish you as a set apart people to himself. Exodus 19:4, 5, 6. And he has shown to you if you guard the commands of Yahuwah your Elohim and walk in his ways. Exodus 4:22 says Israel is one son. This is what he wants for the whole nation. Individuals may be walking, but he's asking for the whole nation. And people say, can't happen. I'm gonna get there. My next section. I'm gonna get there. And all peoples of the earth shall see the name of Yahuwah is called upon you, and they shall be afraid of you. And Yahuwah shall make you to have plenty of what is good in the fruit of your body, and in the fruit of your livestock, in the fruit of your ground, in the land of which Yahuwah swore to your father to give you. See, nowadays people look at children as a curse, but they're supposed to be favor. You're supposed to have Baruch from the fruit of your body. But you see people trying to limit having children and stuff like that because they're not walking in obedience. But when you're walking in obedience, that's going to bring favor to you. But no, we don't see a lifestyle of that out of a lot of people. Yahuwah opens to you his good treasure, the heavens, to give the rain to your land in its season, and to Baruch all the work of your hand. Honest work would bring honest increase to those that are obedient. If we walked as a nation in obedience, and you shall lend to many nations, but you do not borrow. We wouldn't have to borrow nothing. Wouldn't be no homeless, wouldn't be none of that. We would be taking care of our own. But we don't want to obey as a nation. And Yahuwah shall make you the head and not the tail. Meaning you can see that we the tail right now. But you can see that we're disobedient right now too. Other nations are able to conquer us, able to touch us, able to pluck us because of our disobedience. It has nothing to do with them being greater than us. They have greater numbers, and it means nothing if we walk in obedience. And you shall be only on top and not be beneath. If you obey the commands of Yahuwah your Elohim, which I command you today to guard, to shamar, and do. And do not turn aside from any of the words which I am commanding you today, right or left, to go after other mighty ones. That Lord, y'all keep saying that God, those are not terms towards Yah. That's names of other mighty ones. Lord being Baal. God is it's a fallen angel that took on that name and wanted to be served and worshiped like Yah. Come on, God real. We ain't supposed to go after other mighty ones to serve them. And I know a lot of us has done it in ignorance, but we got to come and wake up. Shake off that grogginess and wake up. And it shall be if you do not obey the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim to guard, to shamar, to do all his commands and his laws, which I command you today, that all these curses shall come upon you and overtake you. Well, we can't obey all his laws. You can obey man's laws. Some of y'all ain't never had a ticket. Some of y'all ain't never even thought of seeing jail because you can obey man's law, have no problem with it. You could press a man's law on other people all day. But when it comes to the laws of y'all, you get offended. Your feelings are hurt. Let me see. Okay. Cursed are you in the city, and cursed are you in the field. Cursed is your basket and your kneading bowl. Cursed is the fruit of your body. Yeah, children gonna be a burden to you when you're in disobedience. Yes. And the fruit of your land, and the increase of your cattle, and the offsprings of your flocks. Because when you are in disobedience, you still training your children. Your disobedience is being trained to them, and they're gonna be like you. The image that you portray before them is what they're likely to be. Your wickedness will become their wickedness, and likely they will be more wicked. Anyway, keep going. Cursed are you when you come in, and cursed are you when you go out. Yahuwah sends on you the curse, the confusion, and the rebuke, trying to correct you, trying to get you to come back to obedience in all that you set your hand to do until you are destroyed and until you perish quickly because of the evil of your doings by which you have forsaken me. Now you can turn back. You can start obeying. You can start walking in righteousness and cancel out all that curses. Israel, I'm speaking to Israel. I'm speaking to the son of Yah. Yahusha did it. The head, the high priest did it. What is the body doing? What are you doing? What is your part? And I get it. If you say, well, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, are you raising up your children? Are you being effective far as your guiding others? You know, are you sharing his word, his truth, his instructions to others? Are you only focused on yourself? Mm. Abiyah, may we start walking in obedience to your will and your purposes, doing what you have designed us and created us to do, to be the reign of Yah on the earth, to bring forth your dominion on earth, to be as Adam was to be, the image, the representatives of Yah on the earth. Can we do that? Can we walk blamelessly? Many say we can't. They said, "Oh, only Yahusha." That's not accurate. That's not true. And we've used that as an excuse to not even attempt to get better. Y'all want to be in competition so much with others. Compete with yourself. Be a better you every day. Obey Yah. When you notice that you haven't, Teshuva, turn back to his instructions. And keep doing it until it becomes a lifestyle so that now what you once used to do, you no longer do. That's what being perfect is. When you mature, you'll grow out of those things. Shabbat Shalom. On to the next. Shabbat Shalom.